Hello, dear friends. Today we will discuss the next part of the poem The Garden by Andrew Marvell. As we all know, Andrew Marvell belongs to the metaphysical poetry. In the next stanzas of this poem, poet is saying, when we have run our passion's heat, love hither makes his best retreat. The gods that mortal beauty chase, still in a tree did end their race. Apollo haunted Daphne so, only that she might laurel grow. And Pan did after Cynic's speed, not as a nymph, but for a reed. In these lines, poet is saying that when we have run our patience heat, when all our desires are complete, when we have done all the things, all the our desires, all our wishes are complete, then we wish to come here in this garden of solitude when we are full of love, when we are full of relationship, when we are full of all the worldly pleasure, then we want to get rid of this social life. So at that time we end our wishes and we just want to come in this nature. For this he is giving the examples of gods and their beauty. He is saying that Apollo, who was a god, who was chasing, who was haunting Daphne, he also ended his race here. What happened? Daphne then turned into a laurel tree. And another example is the god of Pan. Pan also chased Syrinx speed, but Syrinx turned into nymph. Uh, Syrinx actually she was a nymph and she turned into a reed. So he wants to say that when all our desires are fulfilled, we are tired of love, then we want to come, we want to wish to come in this garden of solace. For he is giving some arguments, he is giving some examples from mythology that God came here for the mortal beauty and they also ended their race here. He gives the examples of Apollo and Pan, that Apollo chased Daphne and he reached here and he has completed his journey here. But what happened? Daphne turned into laurel tree, but Daphne turned into a tree and she also became a part of nature. Pan was also chasing Syrinx, but Syrinx was a nymph and now this Cynic was a nymph, so Pan turned into a reed. In the next stanza, what wondrous life in this I lead. Ripe apples drop about my head, the luscious clusters of wine upon my mouth do crush their wine, the nectarine and curious peach into my hands themselves do reach. Stumbling on melons as I pass, and slayered with flowers I fall on the grass. In the next stanza, poet is very wonderful. Poet is feeling very surprised. He is full of pleasant thoughts and scenes and sights and visions. So he is feeling exclamation with this life, that what wondrous life in this I lead, that how beautiful, how pleasant life I am leading in this garden where ripe apples drop about my head, where ripe apples are dropping over my head, means they are growing on the branches of the tree and they are loaded with the apples, the luscious clusters of the vine. There are many wines are there, grapevines, and these grapevines are directly crushing into my mouth, and it gives me very sweet and sour taste for the my tongue, and I am feeling this exaggerated. I am feeling exaggerated. I am feeling a kind of transformation situation in this garden because I am full of flora, I am full of uh, flowers, I am full of branches, I am full of flowers, trees, the sweet experience of garden, that gives me very joyful experience. In the next stanza, he says that into my hands themselves do reach. The nectarine and curious peach into my hands themselves do reach. Next fruits are nectarine and curious peach. Peach are also not away from my hands, they are also reachable for me. I can easily catch them and I can easily eat them. Stumbling on my melons as I pass, there are so much watermelons that when I pass I feel stumbling over there. And there are so much plenty of flowers and grass there that I when I start to walk I stuck into these flowers. So in the stanza 5, poet is feeling exclamation. He feels full of plenty of falling water, falling apples, branches of vines, and handful of nectarine and peach, and full of watermelons and full of flowers. So this gives his a wonderful experience for the poet in the garden. Next stanza, stanza 6. Meanwhile, the mind from pleasureless withdraws into its happiness, the mind that ocean where each kind registrate its own resemblance find, yet it creates transcending these far other world and other seas, annihilating all that's made to a green thought in a green shade. Here poet is full of happiness, full of pleasure. His heart is feeling very much joy, but his mind is also free. His mind is also feeling happiness here, and his heart is also happy. Both are happy here. The mind, that ocean where each kind. Now he is comparing the mind with the ocean. That my mind or our mind is like an ocean who can go anywhere, who can reach anywhere, demonstrate its own resemblance, find where he finds his own resemblance. Yet it creates, it means mind creates transcending these, far from the world, or mind that can go far from this world. He can reach to the another worlds, another seas, which he can only imagine, annihilating all that made to a green thought in a green shade. But for the poet, this garden is only the world. It is him. It is for him like an universe where he can feel all the happily pleasure, all the advancement of the world, and all the green thoughts and green shade. So he is busy in his thoughts and he is contemplating. He is just explaining the situations and he is giving examples. So he's busy both with his mind and his heart. He's withdrawing to the happiness now. Now his mind is so much happy, so much that mind is uplifting himself. He wants to go, he's imagining that he is not in this place, he is on the he is in the another world, he is in the another ocean. So garden is helping him to go upward to a great land, to another world and seas. He can imagine the world, he can imagine the new oceans, he can explore the new seas, new world here in this garden. Next stanza is stanza 7.